Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Today, let's get back to work on the Fokker D.VII. Before I begin letting you guys know what we're going to be doing today, I want to thank everyone that's been subscribing recently. Last Sunday, about a week ago, finally hit the 1,000 mark. So I'd like to thank all you guys that have been subscribing and hitting that like button. All right, I had to take about a 2-week hiatus from being down in the shop. It's called a cold that would never go away. I've got it all set up over here in the vise. Everything has some flux on it and it's going to get ready to get joined together. So this will just be done off camera. So hopefully all you guys out there have done soldering like this. It's real easy to do. And I figure I'll just go ahead and do it all off camera. If you guys want to see how I do solder those parts together, pretty much every airplane build I've done, I've soldered those things together, and I think I've showed it on every single build video. So I just decided this, I'm just going to zip right through it because I've got everything ready to go. Be a couple minutes of soldering it up, rehook it back up. So after those things are installed, we're going to kind of consider the wings pretty much done. I still have all the little teeny bits I have to, it's the small little corrections that I want to make before I go ahead and start sealing the wood and get ready to cover it. So we'll go ahead and get everything over into the other room where I've got the fuselage set up, got the motor mounted, and today we're going to go ahead and put the control rods in for the throttle. All right, seeing that we got everything somewhat taken care of with the wing inside, so let me go ahead and take you off the stand, bring you on this side, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to have to do so we can get right down there, so we can get the push-pull rod coming through at the proper angle to the top of this, whatever you want to call this box assembly. So we can make a little teeny attachment point, so it's going to come off at the right angle and hook up to the throttle on this side. So let me go ahead and take you off the stand and show you what we're going to do. Let me show you how well I can do this without shaking you up too much. I don't know if we can see that right now. I've got everything balanced out at 0 degrees. So I went ahead and put some spacers in and I lucked out. I didn't have to get a whole bunch. So let me go ahead and take this off because we know we're at 0 degrees. I want to see what this box is sitting at for angle. And hopefully you can see it quite well. We're at 15.4 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a standoff that sits down here that we're going to be able to either hooked in with a zip tie or however I want to do it. So when we come off the throttle servo right here, it's going to come through the top of this and be set up at the right angle for the throttle right here up at the top. Now my whole thing is the reason why I want to get this thing set up so I can easily detach this and pull this cover off instead of just running a hole through it. I mean, if I can just run a hole through it, it's going to be a hole regardless. But if I wanted to even have it set up so that with the little standoff I can zip tie it or whatever to the top of that standoff, unclip it, go ahead, pull this up and slide everything off. The fuel tank is going to sit right underneath here and it's going to come out to right about here. I'm going to, this is why I've got this big part here over here built up for the standoff on the inside. There you can see it better. Because what's going to come in here is this is where the fuel tank is going to sit, because I like having my fuel tank sit closer to the CG. In between the top wing and the bottom wing, the CG is right about here. So even if it comes back to, oh, say close to it, maybe about back to here on it, a couple inches past this point, that's going to be close enough so that way when you take off and when you land, you're not going to go from a nose heavy to a tail heavy. That's why I like having the fuel as close to the CG as possible, so that way it does not affect the way the plane flies at all from the takeoff to the landing. So let me go ahead and I'm going to make the measurements on where this is going to have to be sitting up. So we'll have it sitting right about there midway through. That's going to be about the high point. So even if we had it about from this height above the leading edge here, I got to make measurements of it, of the box, and then we'll know exactly where this is going to be coming in at what angle. Okay, the little angle piece that was cut, Here it is. And you know how I know this was at 15.4 degrees? Because I took one of these little fantastic tools everybody should have. So all I'm doing is I'm getting the angle from this, from the front part of the former, because I know that this former is at 90 degrees to the fuselage. Put this so it's up against the side, get everything adjusted. So this slope down here is at 15.4 degrees to that former. So this piece was cut out. I've already made my mark. Now the way I've got this set up is this is going to be the farthest point of the hole that's going through. Now I will explain to you why I'm doing it this way after I tell you how I'm measuring for the bottom part of that hole, because it's going to end up being an oval. Come on in, measure the outside diameter of this one. It's 172 thousandths. 182 thousandths is 3/16 of an inch. So what I have to do with that is I'm going to come in on this little piece, slide this down till it stops. Let's see if I can get it low enough so you can see it. We're right there. We're at the, maybe you can see it. Sorry about the light. We're going to always battle this inside. This is part of the shop. So right about there is where we're going to make our little indent on the bottom. And then I'm going to come in with the pencil. I can see where that indent is because there is no light over on this side as well, guys. Slide this into position. And so the bottom of that hole is going to be right about there because it's not going to be this high. This is going to get shaved down a little bit for me to make my little adapter, my little, whatever you want to call it, my little mounting bracket. So this will be coming in. I don't have it exactly straight the way I want to have it. It's going to be pretty darn close. I'm trying to divide the line between where the servo is right here. And I'll just get measurements before I go ahead and cut the hole. But we should be right about in this location, so right about here. So if I make a direct line from the throttle itself up to the front, and I'll do all this fun stuff off camera. The line should be somewhere over in this area, and hopefully you can see that. It's probably about 1/4 inch from where I made the basic line measurement, because this will be getting swept through. I've got to figure out if I'm doing the sweep on the inside or the outside, and it looks like it's going to be on the inside, so probably we're going to come back to these marks again. But I will do the measurements, and I'll show you how I'm going to go ahead and drill this hole. It's going to be drilled out in sections. I'll come in with a small file and just file it flat. So it's just going to be an oval, and that's where the cable is going to come through. Now, back to the good fun stuff. All right, now let me show you the method to my madness, because it's what I do best. What we're going to do is, instead of just running, let me hide it just so you think that I'm doing it the way you'd probably do it. Some goldenrod. So a goldenrod slides back and forth through the tubing. Everything's, you know, smooth as silk. So this will work just fine. But what I normally do on this, and this is where the craziness comes out, I normally put stainless steel wire on the inside of it. It's just what I do. Just because I can go ahead and solder everything to that stainless steel wire, and I don't have to worry about anything getting screwed back in and having it set up so that there's a possibility that these things can start migrating. Things can rotate around and spread the distance between this and the servo, and I don't want that to happen. So right now this is soldered in place. The one on the other side will be soldered in place as well. But what I'm going to be doing with the soldering part of that is I've got the little 256 adapters, which are these little gems. It's the 1 1/16 wire, stainless steel. It's pretty close. If it's not the 1 1/16 size, I've got the stuff set up for a 256 wire. So, which I think is 70,000, 60,000, 70,000, and I think this will work. If this doesn't work, I've got the other ones because I just went over to Dubo and picked some more up. So let me go ahead and get things somewhat cut. I'm not going to make that little teeny bracket, mounting bracket, until I get everything hooked up and I see what kind of bend it's going to want to follow through the fuselage out the front. So let me go ahead, get this stuff started, and then I will bring you right back. All right, easy peasy. I went ahead, just drilled the 2 holes, came in with a couple little files. I've got a little teeny round file, and I've got a little teeny square file. All right, and seeing how everything is hooked up. It's not hooked up to the servo, but I've got it hooked up to the throttle. So this is going to be the pull and the release. It's got the spring, it's got the return spring on it, as you can hear that. I take the springs off because I'm crazy like that. I don't like using springs on these things. I've always taken them off, never had a problem. And on this one, it'll have 2 kill switches. It's going to have an optical cutoff switch, as well as it's what I normally do with these things is, just in case there's an issue somewhere where I can't get these things to shut down, I always use my training switch. And what that'll do is that'll automatically just jam it and shut it off. Now, there's no more stops. I'll take all the stops off these things so I can completely shut the air off going into the carb. So I like to have more than one different way, and everything gets tested on the ground. And I'll show you guys when I test it. So this is good, ready to go. Now all I've got to do is flip this whole bird upside down and go ahead and figure out where I'm going to be terminating everything, terminating the tube. And what I can do is, when this thing is set up, and I'll show you, I can have it so that the goldenrod part on the inside, this is all the way through. It's not floating. So this is still floating inside of this part here, but this is giving it so that regardless, you're going to have something, a wire that can bend through, be silky smooth, because like I said, I take the springs off. So it's going to be very easy just to go ahead and kill the engine pretty much no matter what. And behold, it is done. All right, right now it is in the, let's just call it the idle position, because I haven't started it up, so it's probably not going to be the idle position, but right now it's the idle position. It goes from the idle all the way up to full sweep. So that's as far as it can go up, so that's wide open. Now the one thing I was discussing, a few minutes ago in a video, is that one of my kill switches is my trainer switch. And the reason why I use the trainer switch is because it's momentary on, and then it just, so pretty much if I was coming in and having a problem, say it was running too high and I couldn't get the throttle for some reason adjusted down. It's happened on a couple planes. This is my little safety net. All I got to do is right now, just as long as it's within the first 15 degrees of sweep on it. Because if I go to half throttle, it doesn't do anything. But if I go all the way down, so like it's pretty much the first 15 degrees of sweep and you're getting ready to come in for a landing, it's come a little bit too hot, all you do is before you get to the field, you pull this forward and it literally just shuts the throttle all the way down to nothing. So it just starves it out of air. So it's always a very good way if you have to. It's just another kill switch. All right, well, as of right now, all the control rods and the servos are all hooked up and everything's running just the way I want it to, which is good. The wing itself, you know, that big thing over there, I did not show you, but everything is soldered into position just like I did on the throttle control. So the ailerons are done. I had a little comment from one of my subscribers, and you know who you are, wondering if I was actually done doing the D7, and I'm not done doing the D7. Everything is slowed down. Like I said earlier in the video, I've been battling for about 2 weeks with a cold, and now at work, we're going to be one more person short. So as per usual with me, I have today and tomorrow off, which is Sunday. I think it's the 17th. Could be wrong, but I think today's the 17th, and tomorrow the 18th. I've got those 2 days off. After that, I'm going back to 6 days a week. So in theory, my next day should be Sunday off. So I'll be having Sundays off again. Life is good. But next Sunday, we've got stuff going on. So I might be going almost 2 weeks without a day off. So I'm going to keep trying to produce video, get enough content in there to produce video. every week. If it's going to jump off to every other week, just kind of bear with me, because I'm hoping that we'll be back up to full staff within a few weeks. And then unfortunately on my side of things, I've got to train one of those people so that they'll be able to do what I do, so I don't have to get locked into 6 days a week. So as things are looking right now, I have to just go ahead and start working on getting everything prepped and ready so we can start covering. There's only a couple other little things that I really have to do that I'll bring you guys in on, and that's the little chin cowling, because that's the one thing that I still really, reading the instructions, it just kind of leaves you up in the air. And I really need to, it's going to take a little bit of time to do it. So that one I'll just kind of piece through on the days that I get home from work a little bit earlier than normal, and I'll come down here in the shop, and some of the stuff will be done on camera, some won't be done on camera, with the hopes that with what I'm doing right now, getting everything prepped, if I can shorten my videos. I like to have the videos about 15 minutes max. If I go longer than that, I don't like it, but sometimes you just have to. They may be shortened up to like 10-minute videos, which some people, including myself, because my attention span is about that big, a lot of times I like a little bit shorter videos than the half-hour videos. So even though my plan was to have this thing ready to fly within the next month, if it's ready to fly end of June, early July, that'll still be good, because we still got pretty much half the summer to go out and have fun with the plane. So let's go ahead. Let's just go ahead and call this a video. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm back down in the shop.